and welcome back to my channel. Hi guys, welcome back. Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James, where I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. It ain't gonna happen, but that's all right. We'll live to fight another day. Joining me is my co-host, Mrs. Best. Y'all say what's up to her.
Hi, everybody. Welcome in. Happy Manic Monday. Like, share, subscribe, and be kind to each other in the comments. Hell.
Yes, we all have our own opinions on light, on love. It's all love here at the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel. So, and while you're subscribing to Mrs. Best, because any reviews or recaps that I do not cover on my channel, we cover on Mrs. Best's channel. We have Love and Hip Hop, both Miami and Atlanta, and Real Housewives of Beverly Hills that we cover together. But Mrs. Best also has a slew of other shows and also the one occasional music reviews that she does as well. I don't know if you're still doing them or not. But
Music
yes,
reactions will be forever. Music reviews are a little less often.
yes. So there we go. So you guys check out her channel. It's real dope. And also while you're subscribing to Mrs. Best, Shana has a new channel, you guys. It's Shana underscore MCD TV. She's trying to get her second channel monetized, and we are going to support her all the way through. I encourage everyone, if you love my content, Mrs. Best content, you'll definitely love Shana's content as well. So make sure you subscribe to her new channel. Show her some love. Tell her I sent you, so that way she knows who did it, y'all. Hey, Love is Dope. Thank you for being here. Hey, Naya, thank you for coming back, my love. We just did Real Housewives of Potomac. Make sure you guys watch that video after you get done being here in this live. So, Married to Medicine, y'all, it was a really interesting episode. It was very good. I enjoyed all of it. I will say this. I'm glad Bravo did not show what exactly happened. I feel like they cut a little bit out of it, but that's okay. But we come back where we left off, which is the big altercation between King and Dr. Gregory. And all I saw was a shirt taken off. I was like, who you talking to? What you gonna do? And when I tell you King charged at him, but kind of jumped back because he realized if I swing and I hit you, I'm gonna go to jail, so I'm not gonna do all that. But Shake was in the middle of them too. All you saw was Quad running, booty wearing her down, but that's all right. She was still trying to run. And also we saw Letitia, she didn't know she could run that fast, but she was running. And so you just saw this big commotion. Quad tells Letitia to go check on your husband. I got this over here. Because Letitia was about it. She was ready to start swinging. And I'm like, girl, go get your man. Don't worry about her man. And King was mad. He was looking at Greg like, oh, I want to mess him up. I want to mess him up bad. And so Letitia is just upset. She has Phaedra on her arm, and Dr. Mimi walks over to her and say, you don't let this get you down. You don't let this get you. You don't let this get you down and everything. And then Contessa walks over, and they all three are bear hugging her, and she's crying, and Sweet Tea is upset, and they get to praying. And Phaedra hit that and just was going down, and I'm looking at them like, oh wow, we really doing this on these white people beaches? Really? Okay. I was Toya. Toya walked over there and was just looking like we don't know what's going on here. Now, in Phaedra's defense, her mama is a pastor, so I kind of expected this out of Phaedra. I really did. I don't know why, but it felt normal to see it. But Apollo said, I've known that woman since 1997. She ain't never did no stuff like this. So he just co-signed the 1997 thing because remember, y'all, I had questioned that.
Listen.
Mm-hmm. Get it out.
Apollo legitimately made me holler when he said that because he said it so calm. He said it
Yes.
so calm. And he tends to tell the truth about most things outside of following the law and his business, ventures. So I looked at that and I was like, oh Lord, I had the same thought as you because she did grow up in the church. But
Mm-hmm.
Apollo, you have to also understand, she is a PK. When she was
Yeah.
with you, she was bent over and not to pray, if y'all get my gist. So, of course, you probably ain't gonna hear or see this woman speaking in tongues around you. I feel like most of their relationship was sex. I genuinely do. So, that's all I wanted to say.
I feel like now that he's co-signed in 1997, Apollo would have been 15 or 16 at that time. So what was you
Oh,
and Phaedra doing?
Oh Lord.
What was you and Phaedra doing? Because y'all didn't get married until what, the mid 2000s? Like, what was y'all doing? Inquiring about
Maybe maybe Apollo and Phaedra are both just liars. Cause we know Phaedra just be lying to lie. So maybe that's what they have in common or something, or like that thing that pulled them to each other. Cause they seem to even get along fine, except when the wife is not around.
yeah.
You know, so I don't know. Them two is funny. But Phaedra speaking in tongues with the booty out and some random man on the beach. And Toya with that drink looking at it, trying to
That was
figure it
me.
out.
That
That
was
I
me. That
that
was
is
me.
myself and James, because if it ain't
Yeah.
got nothing to do with us, we gonna watch. And I'm gonna eat or I'm gonna drink.
I'm glad she had some of the ladies to console her and support her. Yeah, me too. Come on now. Come on now, white people speak in tongues as well.
They do.
They do in 1970, but not so much today. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I know. I go to small churches. I know. Yes, her and her mama passed. Yeah, I remember. I loved her mama. Her mama was great. I'm not taking anything from Apollo. He is a scorned ex-husband. He
Super
absolutely is.
scorned.
Super
This is
scorned.
true.
Phaedra is fake, but I don't believe Apollo and I would never take his word over hers.
That's a good point
That's a
too.
good point. If you're referring to the 1997 thing, she said that as well. So to me, it just seems like if they were messing around in 1997, as I said, he was a teenager then. So then I would want to understand what exactly was the relationship status then. Because now I need y'all to divulge more into y'all business.
How old was Phaedra in 1997?
Phaedra is 51, so 1997 would have been, she would have been in her mid 20s.
Oh.
Yeah, she would have been, if it's 1997 and she's 51, keep in mind that's 27 years ago. So, yeah, she would have been 24, 25 at that time. He was 19.
Yeah, it could have been. I mean,
Apollo
I
was
have
46. That's not 19.
he was 19.
No, if Apollo is 46 this year or last year, he was at 40. No, that's not 19. That's what would that have been? 46.
My
Okay,
little
maybe.
brother was born in 1997 and he is 27.
Okay, maybe he was. Maybe he was. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's the only way. My younger brother, the one who called me all the fucking time, he was born in 1997 in September, and he's 27.
What is
So,
he 30 this year? Okay, maybe, but still, that's still a teenager. So what was you doing, Phaedra? Still. But anyways, that's not what we tell you to talk about. So, um, I'm still side eyeing that because I don't know. I don't know if I trust. Someone sent me his birth certificate. I'm just playing. But
not the
anyway,
birth certificate.
because he doesn't. Okay, because I don't believe. I just don't believe. No, I just don't believe it. I'm sorry. I just don't. There's something about it that just don't
Yeah,
seem
he
right.
is 46. His birthday is November 19th, 19. Ooh, he's a Scorpio. 1978. He's a Scorpio, and he is 46.
Mhm. I need. I don't trust. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't trust. Yeah, this is me. I don't trust one of them on age, and when they got, I don't trust it either. Something just don't seem right about it. It just don't seem right. But
Because wasn't
anyway,
she practicing law back then?
yes, that's why I'm saying they both are Scorpios. That's right. Oh, no wonder they didn't.
Oh,
Yeah, no
oh
wonder they.
God.
No wonder they didn't work. You can't be two Scorpios in a marriage. You just can't. Especially if one's an October and November Scorpio. I don't know what Phaedra's birthday is, but I know if he's in November Scorpio, October Scorpios, yeah, they would be good friends, but not no love connection. It just would be weird. So, but we got to move on, y'all. I got to get it past this night. I got to go to work. But so in terms of that, Simone was like, it's way too much. So we're gonna put Sweet Tea, Greg, Phaedra, and Shake in one boat, and then the rest of us will go on another boat. So they separate them. And as they separate them and everything, Dr. Contessa talks to Dr. Heavenly, and she asked if she was okay. And Heavenly said, yeah, I'm fine. And Contessa asked Heavenly, why is it so deep between you and Sweet Tea? And she was just saying that little girl do too much. You can't walk up all over my face talking about this and this and this and that. And sh contestant said, yeah, yeah, but she's a really sweet girl, though. I think she just had a moment. And Dr. Effie said, yeah, she is sweet, but sometimes she can really go off the edge and do some crazy stuff. And I'm gonna tell you like this. This was very refreshing to see them two in this space because this was the friendship that I missed. That's why I said they were my favorite friendship because they have a Contessa has a way of understanding Heavenly, which is why she didn't scold her about the situation of Sweet Tea as she could have. But she just really took both of their sides and just was like, and try to understand maybe there's something deeper between the two. And that's where I like Contessa. This other contestant, I don't know. I don't know who this other lady is, but this is the contestant. This whole episode, this was the contestant that I loved. This one right here. So I'm gonna keep that in there. And Jackie's talking to King, and she just wants to make sure he's okay. And he was like, "Yeah, I just don't like no disrespect coming to my lady and all this stuff." And Jackie said, "Yeah, I know, and we're gonna, calm it down and try to get number 15 while you at it." And I'm just looking at Jackie like, something wrong with Jackie, y'all. I'm like, girl, I get you trying to calm the situation down, but that wasn't the way to do it. So, um, see how they call her little girl, no wonder she calls them elderly. Oh yeah, definitely that's wrong. That's wrong in terms of that because she is a grown woman, regardless of her age. She's in her 30s. I would see if she was 21. And even then, I would still take that with a grain of salt. But no, the lady's in her 30s. Y'all can, I hate when people do that to younger people because they act like there's a lot of life that they lived that a 20-year-old doesn't. But I know some 20-year-olds who have been through hell that a 50-year-old has never been through. So I kind of hate when that analogy happens all the time. Jackie is a freaky low. She is. That's why I was looking. I was like, what is going on here? Was I the only one who felt uncomfortable by Jackie's conversation with King? Mrs. Best, chime in. Did you feel that way? Because I was just looking at Jackie, what the hell's going on here?
I mean, if I had to look at Curtis for all those years and then saw him on the tabloids looking at other people, I'd be friendly too with a handsome man who's upset. Hell, was it right? Was it right for her to like say things like that? Like, no, I'd have a problem with my friend saying something like that to my husband. However, comma, like Curtis, come on now. I know that he cannot do it for her.
I'm just saying, like, I was so uncomfortable by Jackie talking to this man about that. I was like, Jackie, what the hell is we doing? Jackie had no business asking King what number they on. Yeah, for real. I was like, why could we have to go there? I don't even call my granddaughter little girl. She is 16. It is. It is disrespectful. I didn't know you had a granddaughter that age. I just think when you look great. Dang.
I
I
think it
aspire.
depends on how you raised, really, how you look at people, how you view respect, things of that nature. But this cast has always like shown so much disrespect or shade to anybody younger or less educated. So I'm not surprised by these people.
Jackie is so dry about sex. I can't help but put her in the category of doctor and not friend. I didn't get the ick because Jackie is weird as hell. She just is. Jackie. That was just a strange scene to watch. It was. So they get on the boat and they get back to the resort, and that's pretty much where we leave it. We understand the next morning that Dr. G and Sweet Tea have left the whole situation. So Dr. Heavenly has Apollo and Shireen in her villa or her little room. She has Simone there as well to talk about it. And from Dr. Heavenly's standpoint, she said that she did not know that Phaedra and Shek was one of his friends. She did not know that. And Dr. Heavenly's confessional saying Phaedra was dead ass wrong for dating him, knowing that he used to be friends with Apollo. Now, what I will say is that I don't believe Phaedra knew initially. I feel like when I rewatched the episode, he did downplay their relationship. He did. He said that he knew him from the club. Let Shireen and Apollo say he was one of his close friends. And what people were saying online is that he used to be with Shireen's sister. Now, whether or not I believe that, but maybe not. I don't know. It would give a good explanation of why Apollo feels
It
the way
don't
that he did.
even matter. This Negro is on the sandbar with the woman he was fucking on while his wife at the time, Phaedra, was pregnant. So,
Yeah, that's true. I can't negate
do
that.
you really think we give a crap about her dating your friend and she don't even want nothing serious? Apollo, I just did not feel sorry for him, did not see his perspective, did not see his point of view. And then you a con artist at that, quite literally. So I don't trust everything that comes out his mouth with certain stuff. And I'm glad that Phaedra reminded the audience of who Shireen was when she got with him in that timeline. Because come on now, you
I
don't
don't
get to
think
feel
Phaedra's
away.
wrong either. I don't. Compared to what Apollo has done to her, I agree with you. I don't think she's wrong at all. I feel like it is too close for comfort. If we're going to say anything about it, it is too close for comfort. I wouldn't want to be friends. I wouldn't want to be associated with romantically with someone of his friends because I'm going to think two birds of a feather flock together, you in that shit too. So that's why I'm going to kind of scurry away from you because I don't want to be involved.
Phaedra is looking for some good, young, strong, hard eggplant emoji. That is exactly what she is looking
I hope
for.
that's what
I
she's
don't think
getting. And
it's
I hope that's what he
nothing.
got too. I'm praying that's what he got. I hope that ain't for nothing. All that hat ain't for nothing. I'm just saying.
As you would say, James, she needs maintenance. So I don't even think it's nothing that deep. Apollo,
Yeah, I feel like Phaedra
I
don't go without maintenance. I feel like Phaedra at the mechanic at least a few times a month. I don't feel like Phaedra. I don't feel like Phaedra go without maintenance. I just don't. She don't give me that type of person. Like she don't. She give me somebody who get regular tune-ups and oil changes and some antifreeze in the tank every now and then. So that's why I said I don't put that past Phaedra. But what I will say is that the conversation that Dr. Heavenly has, because she said that Phaedra is very guarded and like she just doesn't open up about anything. And Apollo said that that's strange because when they were in New York, he felt like that they were embracing Phaedra and everything. So I feel like they did embrace Phaedra, but they didn't. I feel like she's on a different path of life than they all are. So that's what made her kind of be on the outside. But to me, I feel like also this whole quad situation, I feel like really did play a part in why the demise of Phaedra happened on Married to Medicine. I feel like she got caught up in something that they were all trying to do, and she took the fall for it. That's what I really believe it happened with Phaedra on this show, and I think that's why she left. And speaking of Phaedra leaving, Dr. Jackie goes over to Phaedra's quarters and talks to Phaedra, and Phaedra said that she's very disappointed in Jackie. She felt like out of all the ladies, she felt like Jackie would have been the one to support her. And I understood Phaedra in this instance because Phaedra, regardless of how that event happened or the outcome of it, Phaedra did aid Jackie into this event. So she felt like there was some camaraderie with Jackie where she would at least have supported her more. But Phaedra told Jackie, she said, look, I don't do the mean girl thing. All of y'all were mean, and this was very out of order. I am leaving. I am going. And Jackie was like, well, Phaedra, you don't want to talk to the other women? Maybe let them hear your side of things. And she goes, no, I've had enough. I'm getting up out of here. So Phaedra packed up her little bags and she goes. And when I tell you Phaedra was gone, she didn't acknowledge Jackie. She just walked right out that room. And I wish I knew more about the scene. All I was focused on is why this man got a blue purse. Mrs. Best, did you see that or was I tripping? This man had a blue purse.
He's a strange individual.
I thought it was Phaedra's purse at first. I said, why you got on Phaedra's purse? Phaedra, get your purse. And then when I saw Phaedra had a big old white purse, I said, oh no, that's his shit. No, yeah. Yeah, definitely. He definitely got named. Yeah, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, yeah. I thought it was crazy that she actually is a side chick. Yeah, she thought she won too, but they're getting divorced now, from what I'm understanding. Definitely, the quad hate was the reason why they were okay with Phaedra last season. Yep, that's exactly what it was. And I think when it didn't go well, they just blamed Phaedra for it. Then that's why I feel like that's what really is playing out, and we're not picking up on it because they can't validate that all of them were involved in that. That's why they're just putting the heat on Phaedra. Jackie knows how it feels to be publicly cheated on. Out of all people, yes, she does. I saw that as well, but I thought maybe that was her other person or something. I'm praying that's what that was, but that was just weird because that's all. Like I was literally taking notes and I was just looking. I'm like, got a blue purse. What is that? But okay. So Phaedra get on her little jet. You know, we had to have this dramatic scene where Phaedra is getting in her little jet and they scaring off. And I'm like, y'all just gonna continue to make a moment out of nothing. So we know Phaedra has one more scene with the show, and then she's completely done with Married to Medicine. Um, as I said, I feel like she fits better with this cast than she does Real Housewives of Atlanta, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see. We then move on. At the next day, they're going to separate the men and women. The men are going to a cigar lounge, and the ladies are going to get drinks and talk about the situation of what happened. So the men, we're going to focus on them. Once again, Steve Style, I aspire. I want all his Louis Vuitton collections for my own personal taste because I love his style. Um, when the men get together, they roll cigars and stuff. You know, they talk about how the men have never gotten to that point where they want to physically fight each other. Like they may have had their moments of disagreements. They may have had their moments of their wives having disagreements, but they seem to always be level-headed with each other, and that's pretty much been the truth. We've never seen the men realistically until this season really come at each other like with vitriol. It's always kind of been like maybe they may have a disagreement. One wife said this, one wife said that. Is usually heavenly, but it's one of those situations where they never really got to that point. And even King was like, well, I didn't want to get to that point. I just don't tolerate disrespect, when it comes to my woman and what happened. And I didn't even hear him say the things that he said, even though when they play it back, you sitting right there and you was looking at him. So I don't know who you thought he was talking to because he was looking straight at Quad when he said it. But okay, give him the benefit of the doubt. They've been drinking. Who knows? I don't know. But they Dr. Damon asked, has anyone talked to any of the other gentlemen? And they said, no, we haven't talked to them. And we see them roll up their cigars. I thought it was a nice scene. That's something I would actually like to try myself. I don't smoke, but it is something I do want to try because maybe I might go into business and start selling them since that seems to be the popular edge. Anything you want to add, Mrs. Best, before I move on?
No, the men. I mean, they've been pretty peaceful. The only man that's really screamed and cried has been Greg in earlier seasons, and they just ignore him. He's
Yeah,
like a little angry hobbit. But yeah, none of that.
yeah. So then we move on to the ladies. They're all having a drink. Dr. Simone puts it out there that Phaedra has left because they assumed that Phaedra was still on the premises, and they said no, Phaedra got up out of here this morning. She left, and Phaedra says she's not messing with us anymore. She's pretty much done. And Toy said, well, I have a text message that's saying that she ain't done with us. And Heavy said, no, she done. She got on that private jet. She done with us and everything. And they talk about situation with Sweet Tea and everything. And once again, I feel like this whole premise of Sweet Tea, Dr. Gregory, Quad, and King and everything, I feel like both parties are wrong in an instance, but we have this cast to thank for that. Because what would you do in the predicament where you have to be now forced in quarters with your ex, his new person, and you have your new person? It's at some point, because it's not civil between them, it was going to erupt. And I wish Heavenly would take some accountability because this naturally falls at her feet because she did recommend Sweet Tea to the show, and which we'll get into that when they talk about it because then she wants to apologize about that. But I kind of felt like this is what y'all get. But then also we have to look at Sweet Tea and say, this was kind of calculated on her part too. Because she slid in the man's DMs saying, I'm gonna give you a baby, I'm gonna let you marry me, all this, whatever she said in the DMs, knowing that there could be a potential that he was on TV and that he could be on TV again. So I don't know. But yeah. None of them other mean girls will ever put each other in the situation. I don't know. I don't know about that. I feel like I don't
I
put it
don't
past
think
Heavenly.
there's no more legitimate, genuine friendships in this group as there were seasons ago. I
Mm,
think too much has happened with a lot of these cast members, and I think that in some ways has impacted the integrity of the show. Because yeah, there's always been like interesting things, explosive fights and whatnot on Married to Medicine, but it seems like for the most part in this group when friendships are fractured, they never quite get back. And I feel like that impacts how they all treat each other now. Because these girls, I used to feel like, okay, they wouldn't do this, but the way they handled Jackie being cheated on, everybody wanted to speak on it, and then Toya and Eugene's financial problems, this group is not the most empathetic towards each other about like major, somewhat traumatic life events. So I just don't expect much from them anymore
hmm
at all, especially with like the idea to even bring, and that's the thing, like if you take your feelings about Quad out of it for those who don't like her, it's like whether she's married to medicine or not, people who she thought were her actual friends ended up not being so supportive when she went through something with her spouse. She stayed on the show and then they tried to kick her off of the show, and then when that did not work, they bring in her ex-husband who she's publicly said has caused her trauma and she's still actively trying to heal from. They bring in him and his new broad. Like, so it's like, yes, everyone's at fault, but then at the same time, Quad did not ask for this, that man did not ask for this. The cast has been like, and now they're feeling away, people are leaving. I'm glad that Phaedra left instead of dealing with the foolery.
hmm Absolutely, 'cause I feel like they were going to do her wrong regardless of whatever the outcome was going to be. I'm going to read this comment. Well, let's not forget the last time they went to South Carolina, Dr. Heavenly was mad that Simone even thought about taking Jackie back to Curtis's scene of the crime. I was mad at Simone for that too.
Yeah.
Now, I was very mad at Simone for that because I kind of felt like, to me, when it was brought up and you didn't remember, and then when they brought it to your attention, you still wanted to go anyway. It was kind of like I was with Heavenly on that was probably the one time I was with Heavenly. Y'all could have easily changed that trip to another destination. Easily. And just, got your the
That's one
deposit
of
back.
many examples. These people cannot be like, I don't think they have real friendships no more. I just don't. And it's because of shit like that. Like that's
Because see, what
that
would end up happening, see, because if I was Jackie, I would have planned the next trip and we would have had a weekend jaunt to Tammy's next season. Just saying. We would have went to Tammy's next
Listen,
season. But I'll tell you, I would have been so messy. Like,
James
I'm
was
sorry.
texting my phone when I would have had a trip to Tammy's.
We would have went right to Tammy's next season.
Yes.
Like
And
we
she would
would
have
have
cooked us a
went.
great meal.
Absolutely. And Tammy's for breakfast. Yes, I'm telling you, I'd be like, okay, Simone, I got you. I got you. When I plan the next trip, it's my turn. And when she would have saw Tammy walk through that door, it'd be like, so Simone, how are we doing? That's exactly what I would have done. And I'm that petty. I am that petty. I'm sorry. You're not gonna throw my escapades in my face like that. And when
Hmm.
we tell you about it, you just be like, oh, I didn't remember, but we still going anyway. Okay, I got you.
When you and your teeth been crying about this Tammy for a long time. No.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, that was so. I'll tell you. So I didn't see it for Simone. Last season, I was so mad at Simone because I was like, wow, you really are like a shit ass friend. Like, sorry, it just would have been that way. Heavenly goes too low. She do, she do. But I must say, even though Heavenly goes too low, if Heavenly didn't do what she did, will we have a show? Will we really have a show if Heavenly didn't do what she did? Will we have a show? Maybe, maybe not. I think she knew that these people were not her friends. They have never shown her friendship. You know what? And you're talking about Phaedra. I agree with you. And the person I'm most disappointed in who showed that, who was her actual friend, was Quad. And I feel like Quad gave Phaedra her ass to kiss. So that's why I feel like Phaedra, at least out of all the people, Quad should have stood up for Phaedra. But then again, that situation where Phaedra rallied to get Quad kicked off the show, I believe that happened, but I believe there's more context to that. Yeah, no sympathy from all the women. It's a little scary to me. It is not broad. I know, right? I was on the floor with Mrs. Best said. I was trying not to laugh. I wasn't because they really never share what's going on between them two, Jackie and Curtis. That
We
is.
won't know until he's caught in the tabloids with a new hoe again. It's just the way it goes. I
Mhm.
give him another like 1 to 3 years before we catch him again.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Would have invited no one but Cecil and Tam. When I tell you, I would have been so messy. Y'all would have been mad at me if I was on Married to Medicine. Y'all would have been so mad at me for us having Tammy on the trip. I wouldn't care. We went to Hilton Head last season. Didn't nobody care about me? Didn't nobody want to change the trip? Didn't nobody care about how that would affect me? So yep, we having a weekend escapade to Tammy's this season. Um, no, we ain't got it. We don't make no sense. Hi, Shayna. Thank you for being here, my love. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to Shayna's channel now. It's in my description box. I'm watching the show now, so I'll watch. Oh, we appreciate you, Shayna. Thank you, my love. Um, I was talking about. Okay, yeah. So yeah.
The
Okay, so we.
exact same thing applies to them ladies ain't never been her friend, and she sees it, and then when she don't treat them and acknowledges that they not real friends, they get mad. It makes no sense. They just want Quad to
Mhm,
kiss their ass.
absolutely. We may not have a show without all the mess, but they would actually. Hold on, I have to read that again. Sorry, I was looking at another comment. We may not have a show without all the mess, but they would actually be able to keep their integrity. It just seems like they have none, and I don't want this show anymore if it's going to be this way. I'm gonna say this. This show started on the premise of a fight between two doctors' wives. That set the pace for the show to continue to have like minded drama such as that. So I agree with you 100%, 100% of this they win, and that I would love for them to have a show based on the integrity of their title because the show was called Married to Medicine. However, that's not what started the show, and that's not what continued the show season after season. Because if we remember correctly, they continue to show that fight in a preview every season up until maybe season 7 of Mariah and Toya fighting. So I wish we could have a different trajectory of the show, but because that's how it started, Bravo's going to continue to do like-minded drama with the show in that capacity, unfortunately, because that's what gave them the ratings. Hey JJ, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. So we move on to the scene where the couples then surround each other. They're going to wear yellow as a chain of peace and tranquility. They all drive to a new location. Contessa FaceTime Sweet Tea and Dr. Gregory just to have them get their side of the story out. She wants to play fair into that. And all we heard in that conversation is a replay of Dr. Gregory saying, yeah, the man took off his shirt and charged at me and everything. And I was just trying to tell him about this woman, but I see that's how they get down and this and that. And I'm just like, Lord Jesus. I said, okay, sir. I was like, Steve, hang up that phone, please, because obviously he's still angry. So I don't think that that's realistically going to, make anything better. Like, but you just tell him the story. I mean, everyone's entitled to get their side of the story out, but I feel like I could have done without that. I know what I saw. I don't think they got how low they went with Phaedra. Quad didn't speak up for Faye because she was still hurt about last year. That's fine. That's fine. And I understand that. I understand that to a certain degree. However, my thing is this: then don't film with her. Did we ever get any? I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna ask Mrs. Best this question too. Did we ever get any indication throughout this whole entire season of Quad being mad at Phaedra in any of the scenes that they were in together, where they were laughing, talking, and kikiing with each other? Did we ever get any of that from them?
No.
Exactly. So I kind of feel like, for instance of Quad, then speaking up for Phaedra, then I don't want you kikiing with me and giving me rides to certain events or inviting me to your events as if we're good and you feel a way about me. I don't want that, because then that shows me on TV I'm walking to every situation with you the line because you really feel X, Y, and Z about me, but you're not going to say that until you're in your confessional or until you have other people rallying behind you. That's kind of what I feel like was going on between those two. That's why I don't really see it for Quad as much because I feel like if this was your friend for years, like why would you play her out like that? That's all I'm gonna say. And the same thing can go for Phaedra. Phaedra, if that's really your friend of all these years, then why would you have a meeting or rally or even support the women that are trying to get it kicked off? If I'm on a show with Mrs. Best and I'm invited to something and it's to say to get Mrs. Best off, I'm gonna leave that party and I'm gonna call Mrs. Best and say, hey, I got your back, but this is what's about to happen. I need you to know.
I
Boom.
think the bigger problem I have is once you get to a certain age, you just kind of accept that, like, okay, things are not always going to go the way we want them to go, or it might go in a direction that doesn't look good for a person involved. But it's annoying for me with these two because if anybody felt the way and you actually view somebody as your friend, then speak up. Because a closed mouth don't get fed. Don't go acting upset at each other because this happened back then. Did you tell this person that you were upset about that? If not, and you're just going about it acting like y'all not cool, like everything is fine, then at that point, for me, I stopped caring. So I'm like, one of them could have said something if anybody's upset about something, but they definitely not as close no more.
Absolutely, I agree. We then move on to the couples sitting in a circle. We have Dr. Mimi bringing some lemons for a squeeze, whatever that. I've heard of that. I just don't remember what it was. They put it in the $5,000 ashtray that Quad made, and they pretty much sit in a circle. And Dr. Heavenly is saying to Quad, "We were wrong for bringing them into this situation, not considering your feelings." Now, I'm taking everything Heavenly is saying with a grain of salt because I feel like Heavenly, you did this to be messy, and we all know you did. So I kind of feel like, yeah, it's nice for you to give the pleasantries to Quad for putting her in a predicament where she now has to be faced with her ex-husband and his new wife. But remember, you didn't think that Quad was coming back on the show. So you did this as a way to get Quad back on the show and have her to face something that was very, very heavy. That's all I'm going to say about that. So I kind of felt like I took what she said, I understood what she was saying, and I'm glad that she did say it. But I would have respected her more if she was saying, I just wanted to be messy at your expense. I'm sorry, friend. I thought it was going to give us, a good way forward in the situation that we're in. That's all I would have preferred. I would have preferred her say it that way. Because then I would feel like it's real. Yes, you were doing it to be messy at my expense because we're on a TV show together, and I get it. That's how I wanted Heavenly to explain that. Did you feel the same way, Mrs. Best, or do you feel like she did it the appropriate way?
This is where Heavenly annoys me because y'all have to understand. I actually do like Heavenly. I think she's funny, and I think that she helps make this show. However, don't do like fucked up shit and then try to like minimize how fucked up what you did was while you're apologizing to self-serve yourself by making yourself feel better. You did something that was pretty effed up. I don't like the way Heavenly worded it, and I do wish she would have just like fully owned it. I was wrong, but she won't.
Yeah,
Heavenly, like,
yeah.
I don't
She
even
said
get
she
mad at
was
it no
wrong, but
more.
it was like, okay, what was the context in your wrong? Like she said, I was wrong. It was like, okay, and what? Because you're saying you didn't consider Quad's feelings. Well, of course you didn't. But you didn't say that you did it with the intention to make a good show or an intention to see how she would do being in that predicament. Because anybody with common sense knows that that situation was never going to go right. What you thought her and Sweet Tea were going to be the best of friends and compare notes and sidetracks to what this man does? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know I was done with
I
Heavenly at that
think
point.
people knowing how Dr. G is as a whole to bring him back into this, they had to know something explosive would happen eventually. If not with Quad, then with one of the other OG castmates.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yep.
whole Heavenly irritated me with that.
I was very irritated with her too because I kind of felt like you could have owned a little bit more than that. But everyone has this, question of don't bring the exes around me, especially Jackie. We know Jackie, we got you, and all this and stuff. And that was pretty much it. Now we're gonna get to the real shit, which was this conversation between Dr. G and Sweet Tea. Y'all, I'm gonna go through this the best way I can without interrupting myself because I was like, wow, how dare you? So they get back, and after she pours him a glass of water, he was talking about, if him and King had to fight, it was gonna be a fight to the deaths. And Sweet Tea said, I wasn't gonna let anything happen to you. And he said, what was you gonna do? And she goes, I would have gotten with it. I would have handled it. He goes, you a woman. What do you mean you gonna handle it? That's a grown man. Like, do you know him? And she goes, no. He goes, exactly. Like, what were you going to do? And she goes, I'm combat trained. I can handle it. And he goes, all that shit don't matter. You still a woman at the end of the day. And he goes, this is what's gonna irritate me. Like, I just can't believe it. Like, you gonna say this and then be with this childish mess and stuff. And he goes, you see, you naive. And she goes, don't call me naive. And so he gets up and walk away. He goes, that's what I be talking about. So she gets up to Dr. G gets up, walk up the stairs as he's talking his shit. She goes back up to stairs to go and talk to him. And she goes, don't do this to me. He goes, no, he goes, you see, you're always doing this. You're just naive. Like, what makes you think you're going to handle that man? And this and that. And I'm just looking at him like, oh my God. Wow. I felt for her. And I kind of feel like for me, just hearing that, I was like, damn. If that's even a smudge of what Quad went through,
Hmm.
then that leads me to believe there was more. Mrs. Best,
Why is everybody acting surprised at how he talked to Sweet Tea? I'm seeing that all over the internet. Like, oh man, this really substantiated Quad's claims and so on and so forth. We watched him talk to Quad and do this shit with her when he was married to her on this show. It's like a copy and paste. The only difference is the woman. So everybody's acting all surprised, and it's like y'all watched her go through this.
no, it was more so y'all were trying to make Quad the problem. A lot of the fans of the show that said Quad never really loved that man. Quad was using him. And it was like for me, I feel like Quad would maybe been using him, but he was using her too.
Yes.
So it was not like it was some out of order exchange. They were both using each other. So I don't want to hear that, oh, Quad never loved that man. Quad didn't want to give him a baby. Would you want to give a man a baby who act like that?
That's the thing. You don't just have babies to have babies. That's the one thing I do actually really respect Quad for. Because if she would have brought the baby into the world, then the child that you have to deal with custody and the separated households and all that extra stuff. But Love is Dope says she is combat trained. I was looking at comments on that Threads app, and there were a couple, and I see some on Instagram also, of women who are combat trained, Air Force, Navy, all of those things. And they was like, and I couldn't take down a man because they still have more strength than us. Yeah, you can be tactical and get it done, but you know, Sweet Tea and them big old jugs on her chest, I can't really see her laying no man out.
I can't either, but I wish he would have looked at it in a way where it was either a sense of endearment or a sense of protection or a sense of worry, not belittling and demeaning her and trying to make her seem like she's less than a person because she's a woman who's combat trained. Like to me, that's what I was more upset about because I get what he's saying. He's just saying it in a way where it's making her feel belittled. Like you
No, no,
can't
no, no.
do
I'm
it.
commenting on Sweet Tea's comment, just in general of saying
No,
that.
I got you. No, I
But
got
Dr. G, again, I'm not surprised by any of it. This is all behavior that he displayed when with Quad. When on go watch previous seasons of this man on them couples trips that they do
you.
every season. He's always saying something off the wall or disrespectful, not just towards Quad, but really women in general. That's why it's concerning that he's a psychiatrist. But none of his behavior concerned me, and I still don't feel bad for Sweet Tea. And I know y'all might call me harsh for that, but she watched this show. She absolutely watched this show and confirmed it. That is how she got his attention in the DM, by watching this show and knowing the one thing he wanted more than anything was a child. So her watching the show, seeing his behavior, still choosing to deal with him and be with him, and then the way she's behaving publicly, I don't feel sorry for this girl at all. It's kind of like she walked into it.
Yeah, I'm gonna read some comments real quick. They said heavily said that homophobic stuff in her rant on her channel. I'm so glad that she's being called out for her ish. I saw it, and I'm gonna address it as well on another video. As well. I'm proud of Toya for calling them out about their mean girl antics. She was calling out herself too, and I was hoping she did. The reason why I didn't talk about that is because it does come out of left field coming from Toya, because I feel like she is the spokesperson of Mean Girl at times. He is so abusive. I just feel like there is a dynamic and an age difference, and also a time that he is from, where men do think misogyny is better than understanding both sides from both, genders. But that's just how I feel about it. I think he's just raised in a time where misogyny ruled, regardless of how you think. You think because you're a
I
man, you
mean,
think
so
anyone.
were the other men on this cast, and they don't
True,
display it as bad as him.
true.
He's just a douchebag.
She is combat trained. Her teeth could bite. Y'all need to stop talking about this lady's teeth.
Naya!
I can't. I can't. Not I can't. I cannot. I cannot. But yeah, Toya called it out, but it just was funny coming out of her mouth. It just really was. I'm just gonna put that out there. Did I miss something? What else happened after the scene with after Sweet Tea and Dr. Gregory? I don't remember if anything else happened after that. I'm sorry, y'all.
No,
I
that
don't
was
know.
it. But I
That's what-
wonder if they, like, she told him, "Shh, be quiet." It's like, girl, the mic is on you. Even if you're quiet, we're gonna
you
hear
still
you.
can hear it. Yeah, I feel
Like,
like I don't know, because to me, this is what she asked for. This is what she asked.
I'm just saying. I was thinking, I was like, why are you telling him to be quiet? Y'all are mic'd. We gonna hear everything.
We still heard you, and I just feel like when it came to him talking in his confessional, there was a scene where he was talking about um, when Quad said she chose to leave that marriage, and he was trying to debunk that. And it was like she was the one that filed for divorce. We saw her do it on national TV. She was the one that signed the paperwork. So you were trying to fight for your marriage and try to fight for her to
Which
stay
he
with
has
you.
said. He has said that repetitively.
Right.
I wanted to
So
stay and fight with his little ass. He reminds me of an angry hobbit. I can't stand him. I really
mhm,
can't. He irritates my soul.
she should
He's
have stayed downstairs. No, see what would end up happening was, and this is why you don't give that much control to one person in the dynamic of the relationship, because you end up in situations like this. You end up in situations where you still in that lady's old house. You end up in a situation where he still has control and can say what he wants to you, call you naive on national TV just because you wanted to protect his little scrawny voice ass. I'm sorry, it could have been me, y'all. You're not gonna get on national TV and demean me like that. When I tell you that whole house would have been towed up, it would have been towed up because I would
our
have.
family real mad at Heavenly, but I want to see they energy toward him.
Right. They give me, what, honestly, I don't know her family that well because we really only seen the sister. I don't remember seeing the parents as much on the TV. But see, it gives to me, because he has money and access and stuff, they'll probably turn a blind eye to it. I mean, I think this is nothing.
Wow.
That's what it gives me. I could be wrong, and I don't care one way or the other if I am wrong. But I just know sometimes family dynamics, when somebody has somebody who has access and money and stuff, and that could change your life, in the trajectory that your parents couldn't, usually turn a blind eye to abusiveness, or or he just talking, baby. Just men gonna do that. Or if a man is cheating but he has a whole bunch of money, oh, he just being a man. Men gonna look, men gonna do this. You always got that auntie, Aunt Nikki. You always got them aunties that always say, "Oh, he just gonna do stuff. It's fine." And it's like, no, that behavior has to be called out too, because that's not okay. But I'm telling you, that's what it gives me. I could be wrong. I don't know that lady's family. She hasn't brought them on the show yet for me really to assess what they could be like. But if she's still with him a year from today, then what I just said is probably correct. Because ain't no way. I know my mama. She ain't gonna let that happen. Not on the national TV. No, I would be off the show before that happens again. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
But that was pretty much it. I was married to Mess. Anything else you want to add, Mrs. Best?
No, it's been a good season and I've enjoyed the lives. But
Well,
I
we
don't know
still
what they're
got
gonna
some
do
more
next
episodes
season.
to go.
We don't know what's gonna happen next season. I'm curious to see how this mess ends.
I'm curious to see because we know Phaedra's not coming to the reunion, which I'll talk more about on my updates video. But I'm just curious to see if they gonna make Dr. Mimi a full-time cast member, because we really don't know much about her. I'm curious to see if Dr. Contessa comes back and what her dynamic is going to be with Heavenly. I'm just curious to see how that can play out. We'll be saying, you really hate Aunt Nick.
Oh
No, I
my
don't hate
god.
Aunt Nikki. I just, Aunt Nikki is the kind of messy auntie that, gets away with a lot. She just does. She gets away with a lot because of how young she is and how in the middle she is. But a lot of the drama happens because of her. And I feel like because her nieces can't call her out because that's their auntie at the end of the day, but she hangs out with them. So she kind of has that lateral role where, yes, I'm the supervisor that can hang out with all y'all, but y'all can't correct me on nothing. So that's why I said Aunt Nikki, because that's exactly what the aunties be doing. Like, you can't call them out because then they get all in their emotions. Oh, you did this to me. You disrespected me, and stuff like that. So yes,
She
uh,
cried that whole season.
I'm just saying. And it was like, man, it
Every
started
time she was
all that.
about to
Wait a
get
minute.
caught.
It started all that shit, and then for her to, yes, yeah. So yeah, it's not that I love Aunt Nikki. I do. I love Aunt Nikki, but I gotta call a spade a spade. I'm sorry. I can't let her get away with that. I'm sorry. I miss them as well. I can't wait till that show comes back, because y'all know I'm going in. I like Dr. Mimi and Dr. Contessa. I love them both too. I just want Dr. Contessa to come correct and not the biased opinion, because it looks easier to go with the in crowd versus being there for your friend when you need to be there. But that was it, y'all. I was married to medicine. I love this episode. I am doing an updates video, you guys. We have a lot to talk about. That will be my next video. I will be doing it sometime this week. We're going to be talking about Dr. Heavenly's rant on her YouTube channel where she did the homophobic thing. We will be
What
talking
did she
about.
do?
I'm gonna
I
send it
gotta
to you.
go.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know nothing about it. I keep
yeah.
hearing
On her
about it.
most recent live, she did like this homophobic thing.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. She ruffled some feathers. Um, I'm going to talk about Phaedra. I'm talking about Portia and Simon. We're gonna talk about 8.5, aka Anne-Marie Wiley, from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So we're gonna talk about a lot of different things, you guys. So be on the lookout for that. We'll be on Mrs. Best channel tomorrow for Love and Hip Hop Miami. I gotta make sure I tune into that this morning or tomorrow morning when I get home from work. So I will see you guys then. Thank you guys for being here. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.